If we go there, always be a person standing at that one to make sure that no matter what happens, you get hold of.
I have that. We can also call specifically and ask them to kind of try to correct my misunderstanding of how.
So
I hope you know the state. I guess I've only seen one of the actual.
So does that imply that
I think so. The actual menus are, but you know.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Duck Conundrum? Duck
But do you have context on the hacking round? We just finished hacking round, right? So it's only hacking and left.
The hacking meta is what they're working on right now. The three bulletin boards. Draft structure the draft structure that describe which moves are legal and which
Should we have someone from the hacking round to say a few words on the structure of that?
Are you sure the context is one time?
Yes. The cow was physically broken. A member of the writing team came and gave us some information. We're not totally sure it's the correct information, but we're going to also go try to physically recheck because the writing team apologizes for it.
So what was it solved? They have not solved this puzzle, but they have figured out how to
once the cow was
I'm sorry, there are 6 radios. We use the who can transmit to who on which channel to determine the induced draft structure. The cow was broken and neither transmitted nor received anything.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We knew this and we asked them at the time and they said that they thought it was working but they were wrong.
Oh, I see. So these were like radios on campus, and like
yes,
find them
and we are going to go find them again.
Okay.
There are 6 rooms that we have written down. I think they're not actually radios, they're little weird Raspberry Pi boxes. They're probably Wi-Fi.
Oh, I see. So there's like a earlier puzzle that tells you these locations, and when you go there, you
The
find
deploy bulletin board lists the locations.
Oh, I see. And then you find these boxes, and in that case, you try to talk to each other.
Yes.
So
Amos will talk about the
Great.
So I want to confirm that all that's left is Pokemon round and the hacking meta, right?
I believe that's true.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is
And the coin has not been found. This is confirmed.
All remaining puzzles are Pokemon puzzles. Is this correct?
So there might be other round puzzles left that are not that we don't care about.
Yeah. Did we buy the chemistry answers?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
It was chemistry 7. What else?
Okay.
And I think we have 1 buy left.
I've been trying to.
We're about to get a state of the hunt. Our mutterings are being live streamed by accident right now. Which I mean, I turned the camera on, but told people that we would talk in a minute about the state of the hunt.
Okay. Has it been announced on Slack yet?
I did already.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
And Yuri's here. Are you going to transcribe us, Yuri?
Can we try to get the other room?
Are we ready? Ready?
Last time I brought people in here well before we.
I think we're ready.
Okay. I will summon.
And then from the start to the start.
Oh, there we are.
Do we have someone who can talk about the games
And
interaction?
then the exoskeleton will just be going further down the staircase. We think it's fine.
Can you do these interactions?
It was
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Sparky, and
We will solve this graph.
Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
I watched like
someone else will talk about
Should I hold the camera or you got?
I can hold the camera if you want to talk.
I have nothing to say.
Okay. Yeah, you can hold the camera.
Okay.
Gonna make people dizzy by untangling the cord. Make sure you hold it right side up.
Do you have the view of the actual?
Yeah, sorry.
It seems that the
It's a little less leggy.
Yeah.
Excellent.
and see if we get some of those information that he gave us, and we might call them to try to be like, hey.
Yeah, this is relevant because, for example, there's a part of the marshmallow. We have some.
Yeah, these two, like, we don't actually know each other.
Okay. So now we
There
know
might be
extra direction.
Alright, it's time. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the state of the hunts. So the highest order bit of the state of the hunt, nobody has found the coin yet. So that's exciting.
That's dangerous.
I know, right? It's really scary, actually. So our current hunt state is we have the hacking meta currently in progress. We have the Pokemon Scout meta currently in progress. I think the only meaningful round puzzles left to work on are the Pokemon round puzzles. I think we just figured out how to tell which puzzles feed which meta. Do we have a list of which puzzles feed the Scout to it, or are we working on it?
I have it right here.
Okay, the list of puzzles that feed the Scout.
Older and Wiser, Under Control, Mass Aid, and Shoal Patrol, which are all already solved. And then the ones not solved are Vain Snowball and Harsh Financial Situations.
We're on Vain Snowball.
Okay,
And
so
someone on, and is someone on a harsh financial?
A lot of accountants were working on that one.
It sounds like we might need extraction more than we need accounting now. Is that
Okay.
correct?
Okay.
So if you
Am I wrong?
would like to play
I
with
think that's
extraction, take a look at Harsh Financial Situation. It is an accounting puzzle that needs an extraction that is important to a meta. What else is going on?
I mean, in Pokemon, we probably still need everything because we're going to need the unclued ones.
Yes.
Okay.
As probably either
let's-
super meta
wait,
or
wait,
Psychic.
Let's talk about evolutions. Evolutions of Pokemon are very important.
Yes.
Okay, so each Pokemon puzzle, each Pokemon puzzle comes in an unevolved and an evolved form. You solve the unevolved form to unlock the evolved form, which is sometimes like a trickier version of the same puzzle. However, you can often skip the trickier version by knowing how to take the answer and evolve it into the evolved answer. We have learned several of these mechanisms. For example, if you have a Fire-type Pokemon, you evolve its answer by moving the answer 2 steps forward in the song "We Didn't Start the Fire." If you have a Dragon-type Pokemon, you look up the character of that name in RuPaul's Drag Race and find out what the person's actual last name is.
So there are there's 6 types, and there's 2 sets. You know, Pokemon and evolved 2 sets in each. One that it evolves into another puzzle that you have to solve, and the second one we got evolves into a puzzle that's blank that you have to solve as analogy.
So yeah, sometimes the evolved puzzle is hard, sometimes it is completely blank.
But we have a good chance of guessing on the one mechanism we don't know once the puzzle is solved.
The blank answers have currently we don't
They
fit
don't
into
fit
any
any-
sub-metas, so they will probably come in at the meta.
Okay.
Which we're getting too soon, so we just.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this whole interlocking structure here means that Pokemon puzzles are very back-solvable and very guessable.
But every puzzle you solve right now is probably worth 2.
Yes. So for example, we not only back-solved the scavenger hunt, we back-solved a second scavenger hunt.
Thank goodness.
So yeah, feel free to guess things. If you like guessing things, work on Pokemon puzzles. That was so much.
Speaking of back solving the scavenger hunt, we didn't ultimately end up using a buy on the scavenger hunt, which was great because we ended up using a buy on the chemistry puzzle, which we have killed and it is dead and we will not look at it again.
Yes. Are marshmallows now available for consumption?
Molly, go ahead and eat the marshmallows. Make sure you write down how many there were just in case. I believe we have a second buy if we should need it. So
it's also yes/no questions.
Yeah, so we can buy one round puzzle, not meta puzzle, or we can ask some number like 6 yes/no question hints about a round puzzle, not a meta puzzle. These options are exclusive of each other.
So the Pokemon metas, as I understand it, have been shell metas that cut across many types of Pokemon. But you only find out what puzzles go into them once you solve the puzzle or figure out this trick like the rhyming that we just did.
Do we believe there will be more Pokemon meta puzzles, or just these 3?
That's a good question.
It should be.
Wait,
I mean,
how many puzzles have been in the Pokemon round?
6 times
there are
4,
18.
2015.
20 puzzles are 8 graders.
Yeah.
Using a meta.
I
don't think there's another.
There's not another meta.
It's just the one, or just the final meta.
Unless there's one for all the blank ones, but it's probably just the...
That's probably just part of the final meta.
Yeah. The illustration implies 3 sub-metas and then a meta-meta.
So
And it-
House has no link or anything at the moment.
So summary answer, there is probably no more than the three Pokemon submetas we've seen. There's probably one submeta left to solve and then a meta-meta.
Okay. Should we talk about games? The fact that it's done?
You want to
Go
hacking
ahead.
meta first?
Oh, hacking games?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
So
hacking.
hacking. There were 3 submetas. We have solved all of them. That chemistry puzzle that we called in the answer for is the last regular puzzle in that round. We have solved every single puzzle in the round, which is good because all of that information is helpful. So the 3 layers are scout, build, deploy. When you solve each layer, you go on a mini runaround where you have to use the object that was the meta answer. So for instance, Rob went on a mini runaround where he had to use an exoskeleton. He ended up in lobby 7 and then used the exoskeleton to jump up 2 floors and then continue his runaround. There was one that was a biofuel torch, which they used to cut through glass. They walked around, but the runaround was blocked, and then they got to glass and they cut through it with a biofuel torch and continued the runaround. The third one was backup plan and had actually 17 different runarounds. And you start on the first one and you go until you can't go anymore, and then you go to your backup plan B. And then you go until you can't go anymore, and then you go to your backup plan C. And you just keep doing this.
And the last one, I believe, is titled Plan Omega.
Yeah.
It also, we got, the very end of that runaround led us to a pile of nails in the wall, and we took one of the nails.
Oh, the end of the scouting runaround. The end of the scouting runaround led to a large window from which you could see both the small and big dome. I took a picture.
I would like to see a picture.
The middle one did not leave anything.
No.
That
The middle
we
one's
noticed.
just you're out of instructions.
And both of those could have been just sort of cutesy ends. At least the nails one could have. It was sort of like.
Well, the seeing the dome is actually just super thematic.
And it said, survey your domain.
Right. and the whole thing we're doing now is a dome. So the other things that were going on, when we solved these and solved the runaround, you end up with 2 different things that are relevant. A bulletin board. Can I see a bulletin board, please? Each bulletin board had some kind of thing that you could use to develop a directional graph between images that corresponded to puzzles.
And we got one piece of the bulletin board for each puzzle we solved in that sub-round.
Yeah,
So,
show the cameras.
they can look on the thing. It's called the bulletin board. The other thing you got was dome plans. And the dome plans are...
We got the dome plans for completing the runaround in the sub.
So the dome plans look kind of like this. It is the same symbols that correspond to that round's thing. So there are 3 sets of these things, and so we have directional graphs on each of the dome levels. The dome levels stack perfectly well. There are stairwells that let you go between them. If you just try and follow the directional graph, you very quickly get stuck. And so the theories are you have to use the exoskeleton or the backup plan or the biofuel torch in order to continue. The backup plan is very clear how it's used. The exoskeleton is mostly clear how it's used. There's some ambiguity. And the biofuel torch, everyone has different theories. So understanding how that works is the only way we're going to break through the rest of this meta. Also, so the third one, the backup plan one, was not a very nice thing that turned into a directional graph. It was 6 rooms on campus with radios in those rooms. We actually would like someone to go, 6 people right after this, to go confirm the data we have right now. Because it is highly relevant. There are A and B channels for those who go, and those are the things that are used for the backup plan.
Didn't they just comment confirm the floors?
No.
It was.
We're
it
not
was more
totally
awkward
sure
than it should have been.
And I believe when they came, Drew was only giving us sort of hints on the bits of data that we failed to collect due to their error, and not probably any data we might have failed to collect due to our error. So I think it would be worth making a verification run.
And it was also the form I had the information in is not the form that you would be doing the thing.
We asked them, I think, perhaps slightly the wrong question, so we're not 100% sure we got the right answer.
Yeah.
So we want to send people just to confirm how things work.
I recommend that when you do this, instead we tried all kinds of combinations of A and B channels when we did this before. You probably don't need to do that. It's probably just everybody set their thing to A if they're allowed to. Everybody, in sequence try to transmit. Everybody set their thing to B if they're allowed to. Everybody in sequence try to transmit.
Yes. So it would be super useful if 6 people can go do that on campus shortly. Rob will collect those people, even though he's not going to go.
Okay.
Because you sound like you don't want to go.
I'll go.
Okay. Glenn will collect those people then. Okay.
Can I just wanted to mention, sort of, so everybody can kind of cogitate on this. So the way that the hacking meta works, we have these 3 layers of dome, each layer smaller than the layer below it. An exoskeleton allows us to jump up 2 floors, but it doesn't allow us to jump through ceilings, and the dome structure that we have doesn't seem to have any open bays in it or anything like that. It's possible that this means that you want to jump up along the outside of the dome, but it's weird that there's very few places you can do that and be adjacent to an upper level. Right, the other problem is, if the dome is an MIT dome, it's sort of weird that our biofuel torch only allows us to cut through glass, very specifically, but like, the domes aren't made of glass. So there's not any obvious glass in the puzzle, and it's not really clear what to make of this. So thoughts welcome.
Pyramids.
Huh?
There are the smaller pyramids on top of some of the buildings whose tops are glass, and they come in 3 levels.
That's very interesting.
Include anywhere else.
Yeah, I don't know.
That would need to be in the puzzle.
Did
we can talk about this separately.
Didn't they say that it was the Great Dome?
Yeah.
They told us it was the Great Dome.
This whole round is putting a hack on the character.
So I mean, if this seems interesting to you, you should go to the channel or come to the corner and talk to people about it.
Currently working on
but you know, brainstorms are welcome.
So we also solved the game's meta. I assume people want to know how it works.
Tell us a story.
You build a truncated icosahedron, aka soccer ball, given the pentagons that were in the thing, and the hexes from the Catan grid. You end up taking, there's some flavor text for this, you take the thing that is diametrically opposed to your hexagon, and you move its answer to your hex on the Settlers of Catan board. So the thing that is in the top left that has some number in it, index into the answer that is diametrically opposed. And that spells out in a forbidden desert, which is super thematic. When you do that, there was an interaction that Sparky can now describe.
Yep, so a couple of us went to the headquarters, and since we were in a forbidden desert, we had to offer a offering to the Egyptian gods. There was a little logic puzzle describing 4 gods and the gifts they wanted, and like an ordering on the sizes of the gifts, and a separate thing that described an ordering on the, let's call them altars, where we were placing the gifts. And we had a big ball of dough, so we split it apart into distinct weighted amounts, formed these gifts, found which scales to put them on, and we got our memory core. So the memory core was like the sci-fi one that happened. So it was like the ball glowing. This one was yellow and red, and there was a little video playing in it. That's on, if you go to the memory cores in the control room, you can see the video. It is someone playing an Escape from Is This Bavaria board game, looking up at another character, looking back down, and flipping the board.
So notably, we have 2 memory cores. We have 2 memory cores so far. Each memory core has 2 colors corresponding to 2 emotions. There are also like 2 parts of the video. Each one has sparkles in one of the emotion colors. In order to see the memory cores, go to the control room, and there's a little like pop-up memory core holder that has the 2 memory cores in it. There is a channel on Slack and a czar or a herring page for the memory cores. It is in round like 50 miscellaneous, and I think it's called memory cores. And we got YouTube videos for the memory core videos, and I think we also have our own recording of one of them.
Core memory. Sorry.
Core memory, sorry. Core memory, not memory core. Thank you. Anything else we want to update?
If you haven't paid dues in your local here, I am still collecting dues.
Please pay Amos dues, $10. Not you. Anything else? All right. That was the state of the hunt. Thank you very much.
We need 6 people to join Glenn.